Welcome back to the New Voice Live. It's been a while. We have Alex tonight as our table topic master, but uh, for those of you who haven't joined us from a couple weeks ago, just a couple things that we'll let you all know about in a minute. But I think we also have some guests as well. So I want to say hello to the guests. My name is Henry, and you're watching our New Voice Live episode, which we're actually streaming to YouTube. And so if you're here as a guest, part of the reason we assume you're here is because you're looking to be a better speaker. And since we're not in person yet, that means being better on camera. And so that's why we stream on YouTube. So we're here to all get some practice in and getting better at being on camera and in person. And we've been at it for a long while, but we took a break. And so it's good to see some folks back. And so if you're new, welcome to our latest installment. We're still on video, as you can see, but we're hoping that we'll be back in person next semester at the new school. And Kaylee, our president, is going to give you some info and give us all some information about where things stand with that. But before we get started, the first thing I wanted to let you all know is that we've made improvements, and one of those things starts with how we interact. And we now have this all very simplified. There is one link that you all need now, and Kaylee's going to put that in the chat. And that link is called the meeting link, and it'll direct you to a couple places. If you're a guest and you hit that link, there's also a button there for a profile, a guest profile, a welcome form. So please fill out that welcome form. We'll ask you to come on camera as well and just say hello later on. And then for table topics, because we're starting out again, we don't have a lot of participants yet, but there's also the table topic sign-up form. And we've changed things up so that it is all done randomly now. So what you do, what basically happens, we put our name in a pool, in a pot, and then the computer will pick out a name at random. So you never know when you're going to go. So that's going to be fun. And it's all stuff that we've kind of added for when we get back into in-person meetings and have a hybrid meeting. We're going to all do the fun stuff of making it interactive and all that stuff. So if you are interested in doing table topics, like I said, we've got a small group tonight. So hopefully everybody signs up. But hit the link in that meeting chat link, sign up, and you'll be in the pool for folks who want to come to do table topics. One last thing for the guests before I turn it over to Kaylee to give us our updates. If you're here as a guest, as a new school student, thank you for that. Welcome to those students that are out there. We are part of the new school, and so membership is free for all new school students, but while we're here on camera, it's all donation based, and we're doing things completely on a volunteer basis until we get back into the semester and in person. So for you students out there, all free. Hopefully we can get you guys to come now that we're back in. We got a little late start on the year, so many of the students at the new school don't know that we're even back. But if you are a student, welcome, and make sure you point that out to us so we can say hello. But with that said, let me turn it over to our president to do some quick remarks about where things stand, and then we'll get into our table topics with Alex. So Kaylee, why don't you take it away for us?
I certainly will. Thank you. And give me 1 second because I got to get myself on screen here. As most of you know, we are not a glitch-free space. We are a glitch-plentiful space. So as we do this kind of incredible, what we do on the live stream here, it takes us a little time to get back into this. So let me just see if I can get myself on screen here.
Let me see if I can get this for you.
I think I want the second screen. Yeah, thank you, Henry.
There you go.
Now I'm here. That's awesome. Great. Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to have you here on a Friday evening. Happy Friday, we like to say here at New Voice Live. Hopefully, as Henry mentioned, for those of you who are new to us, you are pinning this incredibly vibrant blue, red, yellow screen that you see on the grid view. Pin that because that's really our virtual stage. What happened a year and a half ago when we went online as a club is that Henry built us this amazing stage so that we can still feel the nerves and the grandeur of being up on stage in front of people when we practice our public speaking, which is of course why you are all here. So thank you for that. I know it's a unique person who comes on a Friday evening to get up on stage and practice this crazy thing called public speaking. So we thank you for being here. It's great to see some of our familiar faces. Hi, Rob. Hi, Alex. Hi, Dulce. Really appreciate that the community is coming back. As many of you know, but for those of you who don't, we are part of the new school. We are also a Toastmasters club. So these last few weeks and months, as we've come out of the summer hiatus, we've been focused on getting ourselves squared away with everything we need to do to become a club in good standing for Toastmasters International, as well as a student club at the new school. So it's been kind of a slow roll to get ourselves out of the hiatus and back into full gear here at New Voice, but we are in the process of doing that. So we are starting these meetings back up. So please tell your friends, invite people. The strength of this community, I'm telling you, is that people bring others in. For those of you who are new, we hope you see the value of this space and will want to start coming back and bringing other folks in. Can't practice public speaking without an audience. And a really big part of New Voice Live is building a community of support for one another as we practice our speaking skills. So that's really it for me. I just wanted to say hello to all of you. We're really, really happy to start inviting the community back. It's been too long without seeing all of your faces. So welcome back. We're going to have a great meeting. I know for me right now, before we get the meeting fully kicked off, oh my gosh, Linda Green is in the waiting room. How wonderful is that? Again, it's so nice to see old faces here. But before we begin the official meeting, I want to take a minute and welcome any guests. I know we have a few guests in the audience. So if you filled out that form, again, the link in the chat is where you're going to get all the information about us tonight. I see someone did fill out the form. Perfect. Guests, please fill out that form so we can gather a little information and get to know you a bit. And you also see your name pop up on the screen here. This is a really cool function that Henry has developed for our virtual stage. But guests, I'm just going to have you come on stage here for a moment. You'll come on camera and tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you heard about this club, and why you came here tonight. So I'm going to start off with introducing Alina. Alina's coming to us from Belgium. That's awesome. A great advantage of being on Zoom is that we can invite people from around the world. Hi, Alina. Will you tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you heard about this club?
Yes, hi everyone. It's super exciting. I'm an international student from Belgium and I go to the new school. And I heard about the club through Maya and Sabrina. So thank you to both of them.
Oh, that's great. Welcome, Alina. It's so nice to have you. Can you tell me what you're studying at the new school?
Yes, I'm majoring in strategic design and management. It's the Bachelor's of Business program.
Excellent. I think you're going to love this club. Speaking is a skill I imagine in your department and career path is going to be really important. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here and coming on camera. Welcome, Alina. Thank you. I'm going to pop in and see if there's any other guests here that I need to welcome. Linda Green, Tiana Green. We have some greens here tonight, some familiar faces. Welcome. It's so nice to see you all. Who else am I missing? I think Maurice. Maurice, I believe you are a guest here tonight. You might not have had a chance to fill out our guest form yet, but in a second here, I'm just going to ask you to come on camera. Tell us who you are, how you heard about this club, and what you're hoping to get out of it. Hi, Maurice. I think we can see you, but we can't hear you, Maurice. Are you maybe on mute? Or is it just me? Am I not hearing Maurice? Might be having a technical issue there, Maurice. While you figure that out, maybe I will invite another guest on stage and we'll try and loop back to you and see if we can figure it out. We did get to see your face. It's nice to meet you, Maurice. Glad to have you here. I think that might be, Claudia. Claudia might be a guest, but I think she's also a little familiar to me, but maybe we can bring her on screen and say a second hello to Claudia. Hi.
Hello, hi. Yes, this is Claudia, and this is the second time I come to the club, and the first time was a long time ago. So I've been looking forward to return, and I also recommended it to a friend of mine who I believe he attended maybe 2 weeks ago, Tolu. So
yes, we did meet Tolu.
Thank
you for the recommendation.
So
yeah,
we worked together, and now we're different places. I am a user experience researcher, also work with design, technology. So I do a lot of presentations, and I would love to improve my public speaking skills.
Oh, that's great. It's so nice to welcome you back, Claudia. I'm so glad you remembered us and have been recommending others to us. Can you remind me where you're calling in from?
I am in New York right now, in
York.
Long Island.
All right, great. Well, welcome. It's great to have you back. We are hoping in the new year, probably we'll be back in person. So maybe we'll be able to meet you in person in the not too distant future as well. Thanks,
That would
Claudia.
be awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Let me pop in and see if I have any other guests here. I don't think so. All right. Well, I'm just happy to see the familiar faces. Welcome again to Alina and Claudia and Maurice. Maurice, maybe we'll be able to check in with you again. Is your audio working, Maurice? Maybe if you come off mute now, can I hear you? Still not being able to hear you. I don't know if maybe doesn't look like you're using headphones. Sorry about that. Whatever you're saying, I'm sure is really sophisticated and eloquent, and I'm sure you're a great speaker. So we'll just give you brownie points based off that. And hopefully we'll be able to hear from you soon. All right. I'm happy to see you all. I want to get into the meeting. So thank you, guests, for welcoming and inviting yourself here and bringing yourself here so that we could meet you. Henry, I think I'm going to pass it back to you so we can get the meeting started. Oh, Henry, I don't think we can hear you. We're having some glitches here.
What would be a meeting without glitches? That is our personality. That's who we are. But it's also kind of the reason why we're doing this. I will tell you it's why I'm doing this. You know, when we started this as an in-person club, it was all about being in the same room with people, and then the pandemic hit. But the funny thing about the pandemic is that it's made us and allowed us ways to connect in ways in digital and video formats that we never had an opportunity before. And so we decided we were going to embrace it. And we spent a lot of time, as you guys know, building this virtual stage. And it may look the same to you all, essentially, but the back end has been completely rewired and engineered so that when we're in person, this is something that will be an enhancement to these in-person meetings as well. And so that link that Kaylee's sharing with you, what we're really hoping to do is to have that be supplemented to the meeting so that you can, on your phone, as you see, give feedback to people, answer polls, do all the fun stuff that we're doing now. And as a reminder for anybody that came in late, the link also has the table topic sign-up form. And so we've changed how we do the table topic sign up. What we do is we are putting everybody's name into a big pot, and then the computer randomly selects the table topic speaker. So you don't know when you're going to come up until it comes up. So that's all fun. So if you wanted table topics, I see we've got more people in the meeting. Sign up on the forum so that your name is in the pool of speakers. And with that said, I think I'm going to turn it over to Alex to get this started. Oh, one other thing, just as a reminder, we have the word of the day that Alex will go through, but if you get the word of the day, you get our highly coveted number pop up. So use the word of the day. I can't remember what it was, but Alex will introduce that to you. So without further ado, let me get Alex on the screen. I'm working through the back end here to make it all work. So Alex, why don't you take it away for us?
Greetings, Toastmasters, guests, folks from all over the world, New Voice Live, alums, and newbies alike. Greetings, greetings. My name is Alex. I'm coming to you from Montreal, and I am your Toastmaster of the day. The word of today is empathy. Empathize, empathetic, any of those empathy kind of things that you could think about. And the question of the day, and I hope that each and every one of you will, and I'm sure you will, give it your own take, your own prism, is what is the nature of kindness? we have a lot of issues with feeling entitled to many things. But I think one of the things that we often neglect is kindness. And I think why we neglect it is because we don't often reflect on its nature. So with that, Henry, I'm going to ask you to get the ball rolling and pull up our first person who might like to address this topic. How are you, Henry? I love it. I don't see it, but I love it. Henry, can you tell me?
Wait, this is part of all the technical glitches. We're so
no worries, no worries.
Let's try that one more time. Sometimes it takes a little while for the computer to figure out what it wants to do. So let's try that again. It's going to be for speaker one. Oh, I'll take this minute as well. So you'll see how many people have signed up in table topic. So you'll see that there. If anybody wants to sign up, please. And let's see if I can make this thing work.
All right.
It always works backstage.
Well, we will definitely have some empathy for this.
This is the beauty of technology. You never know when it's going to work or not work. There we go. It worked.
Brilliant. I still can't see it, so you'll have to tell me the name because my little screen, I can't.
It's Claudia.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, Claudia, number one, welcome. This is your second time here. And I've got to say, you've come to the right place. Every one of us is on a track, is on a trip, is on a trek. And here you are. And I'd like you to think and tell us, what is your take on the nature of kindness? And if you can use the word of the day, bonus points. Over to you.
Thank you. We always think that random acts of kindness are things that really can help us, remind us that we can always just avoid focusing on ourselves to focus on someone else. And I think for me, it's the kind of expression that really resonates to the motivation and to inspiration to the work I do as a researcher. Sometimes those random acts of kindness could be with your colleagues. Sometimes they could be with, when you're out and about. But I think beyond that, it's really about trying to think about other people's situations, trying to think what can make their lives a little better, trying to be on their shoes and have some empathy for their situation. With that, having a reminder about kindness, about empathy, it's really something that can help us grow as human beings and be good with each other.
That is plenty. That is amazing indeed. The nature of kindness, absolutely, and doing good just because it's good to do. Very, very cool. Way to go. All right, Henry, who is our next guest? Yes, Alina. Well, Alina, all the way from Belgium originally, and now in New York, new school. I'd like to ask you to think about the nature of kindness and what you think that might involve and what it means for you. Over to you, Alina.
All right. So the nature of kindness, I think people often ask whether we're born kind, or we're born evil, or we're not born evil. And it's a very interesting question because the way we interact every day brings out everyone's actions, but scenarios always bring out these different kinds of kindness and these different kinds of actions. And so different kinds of influences will impact us, but at the root of things, kindness is kind of within us because we always say this is human nature, but human nature is to be kind. And you can be kinder based on one situation, but you can also be less kind in other situations. And kind of bringing up the word as well, empathy, for example, if we bring it to the business world, for example, so many different kinds of issues could be solved if we understand the difference between sympathy and empathy, because it's all right to not always be able to empathize, but it's okay to be able to sympathize with someone. Sometimes you can't put yourself in the other person's shoe because you've never gone through it, but it's okay to say I simply sympathize because you acknowledge that the person is going through something. And so it's really important to have that kind of self-awareness and be able to reflect on your own actions and know when to be kind with someone, but also being kind to yourself, because putting that pressure on yourself won't help solve any situations either. And so, yes.
Thank you so much indeed. Very important part. Thank you, Alina, for reminding us of some of the very important parts of kindness. Henry, will you hit the magic button, please? Ah, my friend Anton, all the way from the plains of Toronto, or wherever, somewhere in the Toronto area. Anton, I've known you for a while, and I know you to be a very kind, generous person, but I've never heard you speak about the nature of kindness. Could you give us a few moments of your reflection, Anton? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Tabletopic's Master. Kindness, it is overrated. Come on, forget about this. It's all about me and only about me. That's all we need. You guys, kindness, it is an overrated thing. It's an outmoded, I don't even know what to call it, prehistoric, maybe even, mode of thinking. It is all about me, me, and me. What's best for me? What's good for me? Is it not? This is the world. Empathy, what's that? That is not what we're all about. Servant leadership, no way. It's about being the boss, and I'm the boss, and I will do what I want to do. There's no kindness in our world over there. Somebody spoke about the business world, and I was astounded to hear kindness in business world. Oh, shocking, shocking. And especially in New York. No way. It's a city I love. I love New York. I love going to Times Square. I love the people in New York. I love visiting all the Toastmasters Club there. But kindness in New York City? I don't think so. I really have not seen anything there like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. What if I start showing the kindness? Will people reciprocate? Maybe that's the way to go. If I demonstrate it, will I not get returned to me in spades? I'm sure of that. So from now on, whenever I visit the fair city of Montreal or the wonderful city of New York, I will show kindness to my fellow New Yorkers or Montrealers and everywhere else, even Sebastian in the far UK, him and I are great friends. We are so kind to each other. And I would just like to say, Mr. Toastmaster and Mr. Tabletop, this is a fantastic subject. I can go on for hours on it, but I'll need to stop and I'll hand it back to you.
glad that you had a midnight moment of reflection and that you recanted your evilness. As a fellow Canadian, I must say I was shocked at your demeanor. Anyway, enough of that. I'll have a word with you later, Mr. Anton. Who is next? All right. Now, I can't really read this very well, so someone is going to, is it Jatna? Latna? Whoever it is, please come on, off mute.
I figured if you were having trouble, it had to be my name. It's Jatika Manigail.
Jatika. Yeah, I apologize.
It's okay.
It's my eyes. I'm really kind of half blind. However, Jatika, thank you so much. And you have such a wonderful laugh and such a beautiful screen presence. I wonder what your take on kindness is with respect to the nature of kindness. Can you give us a few words? Thank you. Over to you, Jatika.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters from in New York and around the world. I'm a native New Yorker, but I live in the South. So I am a New Yorker with the South in my mouth. I really do believe, I genuinely believe that I have always relied on the kindness of strangers, that I do the things I need to do, and I'm hoping that somebody will be around to pick up the pieces should I fall down the stairs or fall in front of a New York City subway or fall in front of a New York City cab or whatever happens. I'm really hoping that somebody will say, oh God, another tourist, and will just help pick me up so I won't feel like I have made a mistake. I do believe, however, that New Yorkers traditionally are very kind. Why do I say that, you ask? Because I'm a native. And the reason I say New Yorkers are very kind is because people tend to think New Yorkers are mean and arrogant and all those things. They're not. New Yorkers are just in a hurry. For example, have you ever stood in line at McDonald's or some other fast food place behind somebody who's looking up at the menu going, can I have, and you know that they've seen the menu 1,500 times. If you are a New Yorker, you are standing behind them going like, I have to get back to work. But you are not going to be nasty. You're just going to give them that New York look. So if I were to say kindness is an attribute to New Yorkers, I would say it in this voice, my Southern voice, instead of my normal New York accent, which I use sometimes when I have to talk. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, the New York look. Yes, indeed, that was awesome. All right. Who's next? All right, Sebastian Dixon Lewis in the house. Greetings, Sebastian DL. How the heck are you?
Yes, I'm all right.
Good. Listen, Sebastian, you're all the way over the UK. We've had a few chats in our times together, and I'm wondering what your take on the nature of kindness is. Can you give us some?
I thought that was the theme. The thing with kindness is, let's see, why do we queue? I was just thinking with McDonald's, like that word you cut from McDonald's. That's good. Yeah, why do we queue? Why do we queue? Why is it? That's in England. That's in America. That's all over the place. Why do we queue? I think the reason we queue is basically because people are not kind enough. You see, because if we didn't queue and that wasn't ingrained into our society, you queue when you got to queue. You wait for that person to go first. You wait for that person to go at the ATM. I was an ATM last weekend, and lots of people were there, and I had to wait my turn because that's what you do. And because if we didn't queue, we would just push our way through and be like, right, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. Same with McDonald's, Mr. Jatika. You would just go, no, I'm not going to wait for these people to get served. It's all about me. I'm going there. It's all about me. So that's where we queue. Why did we COVID lockdown? Well, there were quite a few reasons for that, but partly it's probably because some people aren't kind, you see. They wouldn't care. They would be out there, breaking all the rules, and some of them did anyway. But you see, they knew that, so we had to do a lockdown because otherwise it would have just spread like crazy. It would have, and it has. It did anyway. Um, and it's horrible, some of the stuff that's happened because of that. But luckily, we kind of gone past that time now. But I think people are not kind enough. I think it shows in well, it can show on lots of things. I do think on the internet people are kind of kind, but not everyone is, even here. But sometimes more so than the in-person world, or it feels like it. But I do think some people are actually very kind as well. They're very helpful, they're very supportive, they're very nice people. But I also think a lot of people are not kind. So I'm going to leave this as a question to ask yourselves. Are you kind? And if you think you're kind, in what way are you kind? How are you kind? That's the question I'm going to leave for you to answer. Back to the table topics, Master.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're a true table topic speaker, and you leave the question box, and maybe one even more perplexing, and that's great. And the question was, if you think you're kind, how do you think that you show kindness? Well, I'll also add that into our discussion of the nature of kindness. And also, I love the fact that you gave us this great word, to queue or not to queue. That is the question. So whether to line up or not, right? All right. Well,
nice and open to think about.
Indeed. Thank you. Well, I'm going to say that I'm not as kind as I like to be. I would like to be able to be more empathetic, but I think that we can always work on it. So thank you for that. Sebastian, do we have any other table topic speakers for this evening? Oh, Tiana. How cool is that? Miss Tiana Green, how do you do? Are you well?
Good to see you, Alex.
It's great to see you too. How's the bro?
He's good. He said to tell you that he misses all of you and he'll be here next week. Excellent.
I am so glad to hear that. Well, Miss Tiana, it's been so long since I've had the pleasure of seeing you. And now I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind answering, either the question that Sebastian gave us, or my question. Sebastian says, if you think you're kind, how do you think you're kind? And myself, is more a philosophical question on what you consider to be the nature of kindness. So it's over to you, and I'll let you take it over. Thank you.
Thank you. So when I think about kindness, I often will say to people that life would be so much better if other people would think about how they would feel if the thing happened to them instead of the other person. Would people still do all the things that they do if they knew that the same thing was going to happen to them? Most of the time, the answer is going to be no. I would absolutely never do that. So an example is right before I came here, I was looking at a bunch of reels on Instagram, and it was two guys that were dancing. And I'm like, oh, I love this. And then I saw one of the comments that said, why do people get so mad if someone doesn't credit the original person who did this dance and whoever the choreographer was? So I said to that person, how would you feel if somebody stole your work and did not acknowledge you? And then they were getting thousands and thousands of views on their Instagram instead of you. How would you feel? I'm sure you wouldn't be happy about that. And this is the reason it's a big deal, because the original person, when I looked at their page, I had to do a long search to find who the original person was that did it. When I looked at their page, they had like 6,000 views. But the person whose page I saw was like 182 views. So imagine if they would have credited the person that they originally saw it from and given them the exposure that they deserve. So, in conclusion, I will say that we would all be better off if we think about things from the perspective of, if this was done to me, would I be okay with it? That's it.
The golden rule is it's applied in so many of our traditions, and I think that that's a really good point that you make, and thank you so much. It's amazing, and thank you also for expressing it so clearly and for summing it up at the end. A great conclusion indeed. Henry, do we have any other table topic speakers? Ooh, The Price is Right. Rob Price. So cool. So delighted to see you, Rob.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm very well. I missed you last week, but I also apparently missed you when you came up to Montreal. Oh, well, the next time,
Yeah, it was a
let me
quick
know.
trip. So next time I'll reach out.
Yeah. So listen, you've heard a lot of people talking about the nature of kindness, and Sebastian challenging us to reflect on our own kindness if we think we're so kind. Is that true? What do you think about all of this? Can you give us some insights into your feeling about the nature of kindness or
Thank you, Alex. Wow, it's a heavy one. It really is, and I guess that's the nature of Alex, to kind of bring us back into Toastmasters with like a real uppercut. But I don't know. The nature of kindness is, there's some vagueness to the word being kind, or kindness in general, and I think it's something interesting to look at. And I don't think I know the nature of kindness, but I do think about it a lot, and I do want to be a kind person. And I think we all strive for that, but are constantly in this duality of, are we really kind? Like, how kind are we on a spectrum of kindness? Like, where do we fall, and what acts we do, or I don't know, acts of like, how many acts of kindness do you have to do a day to be naturally kind? And so I don't know. I'm constantly thinking and wondering, how kind am I, and how kind are you supposed to be? And is anyone really as kind as they want to be? Don't we all kind of just think, oh, I wish I would have picked up that piece of trash I saw, or held that door open a little longer? But I'm in New York. You got that, like, I saw this comedian that said, he's from the Bronx, and he said, the Bronx way of holding the door for someone is just pushing it open really hard, and hopefully it stays open long enough for the person behind you to come through. So I don't really know the answer, but I do think it's something that I constantly think about. Thanks, Alex.
There's no one answer. And as we proved here tonight, each and every one of us has a way of thinking about it and approaching it. Henry, do we have any other topic people to answer? Oh, great. Miss Green, Linda Green. How are you, Linda? Come on.
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm so well. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
you-
I feel like I'm home.
Well, we're so glad. I feel like we're home too, and we have guys like Rob and you and everybody coming in. So I know it's a little bit abstract, and Rob has told us about the abstraction, but maybe to make it more concrete, when you think of the nature of kindness, how do you think that we can apply some of those good things in our lives that other people have spoken about? How do you propose to do that? Thank you.
Well, you changed the question on me.
As you wish. Always switch it back.
I see. So what I want to say is that I think that a kindness is a construct, right? That is individualized because it's based on our personal views. It's also on our personal experiences. And actually, I looked up real quickly about the nature of kindness, and what I found, what it said was kindness is a matter of both nature and nurture. And I kind of agree with that because as today, I've noticed that if you're walking down the street, people don't even give you smiles. You know, they're walking with frowns on their faces. And if one person was to say smile every time they came across the person that they're walking on the street, what kind of effect of kindness would they have on that person? And personally, I know if someone smiles at me, I say, wow, one, I feel good. I acknowledge the fact that somebody noticed me today, you know, and it was in a good way. So I think that I agree with that definition that is nature, it's natural that we want to be social, but it has to be nurtured. And I think that because of COVID and some of the polarization in our world today, that we're forgetting that nurturing piece. That we have to nurture people. We have to be kind and empathetic with people, or have empathy with people. And so, and I think there's a way to teach it. You teach it by being the model. And without empathy, there's no kindness. Really, it isn't. And so, but I think we can shift this very quickly. And that's if everyone, every single person, every day encountered one person and smiled in their direction and just give a little nod, don't have to say anything, I think that would change the dynamics of kindness.
Thank you so much. Henry, do we have others to participate this evening? Kaylee, the president of our fine club, New Voice Live. Kaylee, you've had a chance to hear all these fine folks talk about kindness, and I'm wondering what you might want to bring to this discussion. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Such a great question. Thank you. I've so enjoyed hearing all of your responses, and it's made me think a little bit about how my kindness meter is a little low right now. I think kindness is one of those virtues, like many virtues, that is sometimes easier to extend to strangers or casual acquaintances than the people who are really close to you in your life. I was visiting my parents recently, and I'm fighting with my mom. It's so teenager. I cannot believe this is one of those things that, like, as an adult, can be a holdover. But we are in some conflict right now. And when I was in Michigan, where my parents are, and fighting with her, I was able to meet up with a friend who did me the kindness of sitting with me and listening to me and trying to understand. And I think sometimes the time people give us is the biggest kindness they can offer, as well as the empathy of trying to understand where we're coming from. And as most things, kindness begets kindness, right? I was then able to pass that on to another friend who came to me with a problem. A good friend of mine is going through chronic pain right now, which is a really tough thing. And I had a model, like Linda was saying, a model from my friend who sat with me so that I could sit with this other friend and try and understand and try and just give the kindness of my attention. I think that is sometimes really what the people closest to us are looking for from us in our lives. So random acts of kindness, being kindness to strangers is wonderful, but the real challenge, I think, is trying to be kind to those close to us. And I am definitely trying to be better at that. I got to get my kindness-o-meter a little higher here. So I've really appreciated all of your answers tonight. And thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiana. Thank you so much. Pretty well de rigueur. Henry, do we have anyone else?
Alex, I think that might be it.
Well, I'd be happy to do one if there's one more.
Absolutely.
I think that might be D. So let's see if we can get D on the screen for us.
Absolutely.
Okay, would you like me to?
Hold on, D, 1 second.
Righto.
And allow me to introduce you.
Let's get D on the screen for us. Give me a second. There we go.
D, it's been so long since I've seen you. How are you?
Yeah, it seems like a long time, doesn't it?
It does. Well, I was wondering you've heard so many people talk about their feelings on the nature of kindness and some of their takings about it, but I have a suspicion that you're going to be able to give us some very interesting and pertinent thoughts about this. So I'd like to hear from you on the nature of kindness. Over to you, Dee.
Thank you. It's my joy to add my 2 cents worth, or is it 10 cents worth or $1 worth to this conversation. Speaking of kindness, I rather like the idea of do unto others as you would that they should do to you. The golden rule, which you mentioned, Alex. But I think it's even more than that. It's not just doing what you think other people would like. It's giving of yourself. I walk out of my apartment in the West Village every day and I say, good morning to everyone I pass. And it's New York City, you know. So some people look at me as if, what's that? What's good morning? Who ever heard of that? On the other hand, there are some people who are so down that you know that you helped by saying good morning. And there was one woman who said, it is not. I said, good morning. And she said, it is not. And I thought, she probably needs it more than anybody else, you know? I had another little experience that really demonstrates this. I was crossing Greenwich Avenue, and when I was halfway across, I saw my favorite movie star. And I turned around and said, good morning, Denzel. And he was almost all the way across the street. You know what he did? He made a 180-degree turn and said, good morning, with his Denzel smile. Well, he made my day. He made not only my day, though, he made the day of everybody at IBM that I met that day, my customers and my fellow workers. No, it's kind. It's kind. Just be what you know you can be. Give of yourself, and all is well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for it would be a great day day for me. In fact, I always wish people good morning, or in Quebec, we often say bonjour, bonne journée. Anyway, so Henry, do we have anyone else on our docket, or what do you? What should we do now?
Alex, I think that's going to be it. We had 10 speakers for the evening. So great
Brilliant.
job on being our table topic master for the evening, Alex. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Let me get myself back on screen here. Okay, so that's going to wrap up another episode of New Voice Live. As I said, for those of you who are here, longtime members, we're going to be back in person here, hopefully in the next semester. And so I'm looking forward to meeting everybody there. But while we're still here on video, a couple things. One, this is all still a working process, as you can see. We had some glitches here or there, but ultimately, like I said, we want to be able to bring this to our in-person meetings. So the fact that you're all helping out and coming, even despite the fact we're not in person yet, is really appreciated. And we've had a little time off, and so I got to say, it's always uplifting when I get to see you guys again. There are times where you wonder to yourself, why am I doing this crazy, funky little thing every Friday? And then you get there on Friday and you go, oh, this is why. Because there's some really great people here. And you know what? In addition to this being good practice, you make some good friendships as well. And that's really the kind of the reason why I'm doing this, is that I've met some extraordinary people in Toastmasters and here at New Voice Live. And it's even better by the fact that we're now meeting people from around the world, literally around the world. That's amazing to me. And you create friendships you could never create before. In the way we're doing it with the technology is spectacular. So I'm looking forward to more. And in fact, what I'm really now looking forward to is getting the audience built. You know, while we were here in the pandemic, it was, let's just see what we can do. You know, it's the brand new world and let's just have fun. But now that we're back in person, I got to tell you, I'm more excited about this than I ever have been. I think the pandemic, as horrible as it's been, has made us figure out ways to adapt in ways that we never thought possible. If you take it back to the dark days of this pandemic, when we didn't know how serious it was going to be, right? We have a vaccine now. We know we're going to be back in person shortly. In the first few weeks and months, you didn't have an idea of whether there was even a vaccine. You didn't even know how bad COVID was going to be. And so it was a really scary time. But that's the fear and the unknown that we are trying to grasp here, right? That's the stuff that makes you stretch, makes you stronger. Overcoming the fear of things that you don't know how they're going to turn out. And that's why we do this. We create a stage that's trying to create as much fear and agita and anxiety as possible. We are live streaming to YouTube. You get a fancy logo with your name on it at the bottom when you come on screen, all those things to say this is real. Because that's when we grow the most. And I got to tell you, we've grown a lot. And so the next stage of this is for us to get an audience. So from here on out, that's all you're going to hear me talk about is tell your friends. Get them to come. There's no excuse anymore because all it requires is for them to patch in via Zoom. When we were here in person, you had to literally get in, go to the room, sit down, right? That's a lot of work for people, particularly on a Friday. Now, it's a link. It's as simple as that. So spread the word. We are going to be meeting virtually every other Friday, essentially till next semester. So it'll be sporadic, but when you come, bring your friends. Tell other people. And before I close it out, a couple more things. I think we've got a couple of guests that came in late that I always want to make sure that we acknowledge and say hello to. So if you were in here late, Kaylee, can you get them maybe on the screen for me? Is that something you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm going to redrop the link in the chat so people can vote for best table topics.
Oh,
that
yes.
Link is, yep.
So yes, we do the traditional vote for your best table topic, and we had Dee as a last minute addition. So she's going to be speaker 10. I think the form is going to be blank. And also it gives you a chance to give Alex some feedback on his role as table topic master. So that should be in the link there as well. And we're going to highlight our best table topic speakers next week or in a couple weeks in Kaylee's email. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, if you're here as a guest, please do so. That'll give you the current dates and times of our meetings. And so let me see if we can't get some of our last minute arrivals here on screen.
So I can, I see Bruce is a new folk, I think, for us. So I'll bring Bruce, you on screen in 1 second here.
Bruce, can you hear us?
That would be me.
Nice to meet you. Where are you calling in from? Can you hear that? We might have had
A little town in eastern Massachusetts we never heard of.
Where would that be?
Bridgewater. It's about 30 miles south of Boston.
Gotcha.
I think this is, I'm sorry?
I was just saying that I think I know the area. Yes, go ahead.
I joined Toastmasters originally in 1993. It's been almost, but not quite continuous. I have been a member of 7 clubs at one time or another, and as many as 5 at the same time. But you got to pay dues to all of them, and that can get expensive.
Yeah, that's for sure. And for us, the best part about us is we're free. So hopefully you'll come back and join us in a couple weeks. And then when we're in person, patch you in as well.
I am a DTM.
Well, we'd love to have you give us your feedback as well on what we're doing right and doing wrong, since you are, sounds like a longtime Toastmasters and expert Toastmaster at that too. Well, thanks for coming. Let's see if we have somebody else that may have come in at the last minute. Was there somebody else?
I have Elma as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Elma, are you there? Can we say hello?
Yes, hello, I'm here. I apologize. I cannot put my video right now, but yes, I'm here. I'm happy to join for the first time. And I'm located in New York as well. And well, very happy to join the team and try to learn.
Fantastic. How did you hear about us?
Well, my manager recommend me to join one of the Toastmasters. He says it's a very good experience and I can, improve my communication skills.
Well, that's great. Yes, we are big Toastmasters fans. We're a club, obviously, ourselves, part of the new school. So we are as big a proponent of Toastmasters as they get. So go spread the word amongst all those Toastmasters guys out there as well. We'd love to have them join us. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Did I leave out anybody else? If not, I think that means it's time to wrap up the show. A quick shout out to Anton for the donation. Very much appreciated, Anton. And to the point of our fees and all that stuff, we have transitioned to a donation-based system since we're online. So if anybody has some spare change lying around, we always appreciate it. But that's really the point of it all, is that we're trying to grow an audience. And we want to make it as painless and as easy as possible for people to come in, check us out, stick around. So spread the word, help us out. Let's get the social media stuff going again. We are broadcasting to YouTube, so we actually have content to share with folks. So we appreciate everybody stepping up to the plate. And from my own personal perspective, having watched the show again, just from a overview perspective, look, this is not easy. This is something that's actually really difficult to do. And it takes practice. And I got to tell you, to listen to people after, the first 2 or 3, to start to warm up to a place where it feels like we're just back right in it, that's pretty impressive to me. So I'm looking forward to the next few weeks and what we can really bring to the table, because I think we got something here. So I appreciate you guys coming. If anybody's got any questions for us or wants to join or all that stuff, please feel free to stick around and ask us afterwards. But with that, I think we're going to wrap up the show and say thanks for coming. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Take care.